It was interesting when I saw the OECD report yesterday, it was talking about the blow that's coming from tariffs. And at the same time, you have the Fed raising their GDP numbers. You've seen the resiliency of the economy thus far. You know, sort of where do they get that from? Because a lot of the folks who come on don't necessarily think the tariffs bring on lots of inflation.
Yeah,
that fundamentals have been pretty good with earnings and such, that we're not necessarily seeing bad news ahead, right?
Totally. I mean, the reason the stocks were up.
A great market drive over the weekend. We were asking the folks what they're most concerned about. On that was economy and tariffs and debt and deficit. They seemed more worried about trade and tariffs and things like that. But the debt and deficit certainly got enough votes. Are you worried about that? I know that the administration's trying to bring rates lower so that they can handle some of that debt or refinance some of that debt. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean,
your picks here, I see tech and cybersecurity, but just a quick thought, as President Trump yesterday was talking about Ukraine and maybe that Ukraine can really fight back with the help of Europe. And then there were folks who said maybe defense stocks are back. I don't mean a defensive play, I mean actual aerospace and defense stocks. Is that something that you follow closely? Did you like that group?
Yeah, and so
you were talking about Alphabet, Google, Fortinet, CrowdStrike. Thank you both for being here today. Brianne, you're right here right by Wall Street. And you've seen a lot of the action. Maybe obviously we've had a bounce back. We had sort of a dead zone for a while. It's now, people think that market conditions are more favorable. They're bringing companies to market. There's a lot of money on the sidelines, too. On your list here, I mean, you talk about the 250 IPOs. We're up 80% year over year. What names stood out to you thus far, and what are you waiting on? What's on the list, the standby list?
Yeah, so I think we've actually seen some.
And there was a time where we were really looking at a lot of SPACs, and there were some direct listings. So what do you think about how things have been coming to market, the strategy? They're doing the road shows. I mean, you see 2026 going past this year?
Yeah, I do. And a couple points I'd put out.
Figma, I mean, we talked about some of these names and how they're doing. I mean, I saw that one I was just looking at, I think it was CoreWeave was up 50%. Figma has come down. I mean, some of these names have come down. Sometimes the listing price gets some euphoria around it, and then they come down some, but find their footing. I mean, what are your thoughts on things with potential listing companies? And one that they said that was very popular was AI and software. I mean, there's no doubt we've seen stablecoin and crypto. We've had bullish, Gemini. Jim, what do you say as far as some of the themes of what IPOs are you thinking will come? I mean, bullish has come off of its highs. I just peeked at that one. But what is the big picture on the world of digital assets and or AI?
Yeah, I think the pendulum.
Good market conditions. I mean, we're up to our 28th high or something on the S&P 500, maybe off by one. The market conditions have been very welcoming. You have an administration that has tried to move along with mergers, acquisitions, IPOs, things like that. Final quick thought to you, Brianne. Yeah, you both, Brianne Lynch, head of market insight, Equity Zen, and Jim Neeson, managing partner at Connor Group. See more cuts for the rest of the year, the two, and then January again. What about the yield curve? What's the yield curve telling us, or what are you watching for?
Right. So
we'll have to follow. We'll continue to follow that story. I know you're watching the employment churn, the employment picture. That's a big story. And how do you invest in the market? Because are we so concerned about employment that the market comes off? I mean, we did hear Fed Chair Powell yesterday with his irrational exuberance talking about fairly highly valued stock market. What do you think about the market? Is it the employment picture that takes it down, the inflation picture that takes it down, or does it just keep climbing the wall of work necessarily, and that they're underestimating what we've been seeing with tech investments that have been happening, with AI, the boom that continues, you noted. Where do you stand on tariffs, inflation, AI stories? The markets, let's start with some of the lithium stocks too that are on your mind.
Yeah, absolutely soaring this morning, Nicole, and also Lithium Americas being the big one here.
Percent for this lithium miner stock, it's unbelievable. So continue to watch that group. I mean, 70% is no joke. Then we also have the Chinese stocks in focus. You have a few of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
With all the AI spending, Baba in the news, all those names, we'll continue to watch those. And we did see a record, folks, yesterday for the S&P.